Welcome to RaidGuides.com's video guide to Megaera in Thrones of Thunder in 10-man normal difficulty. My name is Arch and I'll be guiding you through this encounter. On paper this fight looks very complicated, but it's actually very straightforward and just basically requires a lot of coordination from your healers, good rotation of cooldowns and very good stacking, and you will be fine. So, Megaera. Now, it's a Hydra. So, basic principle, 3 heads. Whenever one of those heads is killed, 2 will spawn in its place. Now, the heads that spawn after one has been killed will be in the back, and they are non-attackable. Only 2 heads will ever be active and attackable at a time. So, as you can see, we started with the poison and the ice head attackable. Now, each head will do a different set of abilities. The fire head will do cinders on a target, which as you can see deals 60-70,000 damage every second until it's dispelled, and when it's dispelled will leave a puddle of fire on the floor. The ice head will chase a target with a frost beam, leaving frost patches on the floor, which you have to endure until the duration of the buff is ran out. If you run through fire, if you kite the frost beam through the fire, you'll get rid of a fire patch, so that you want to remember. The poison head will drop a poison bomb, which the further away you are, the less damage it will deal, so you just need to run away from it when you see it coming. On a side note, if you run through any frost patches with the Burning Cinders debuff, you will remove the frost patches left on the floor. Okay, so once you've got over those, they also deal abilities which the tanks need to be aware of. Each head deals an ability which stacks, which basically means they can't tank the same head for too long. So if your DPS isn't good enough, you are going to need a tank switch. The fire one will put a debuff on the tank which does damage. This stacks, so eventually they'll be taking too much damage for you to be able to heal through. The ice one puts a stacking debuff, which once it reaches a certain number of stacks, I believe it's 5, they will be frozen. Not the worst, but it just means they can't do any active mitigation. And the poison head, probably the worst debuff, will put a 6% increased damage taken debuff, which stacks. So eventually you'll be taking too much damage and will just die, so you do need to do some tank swapping. So when you pull the fight, 2 heads will be active. You pick a head which you feel you can deal with the easiest in terms of the mechanics that they do at the raid, and you kill it. When that head dies, or when any head dies, they will go into Rampage. Now what Rampage does is every single head, the active ones and the inactive ones at the back, will start bombarding the raid with damage, according to the schools in which their head is based. Now this is high damage, however, this starts off relatively low because you only have 3 or 4 active heads. Towards the end, you've got considerably more heads. So as the fight goes on, the damage from Rampage gets higher and higher, and you need to really coordinate your cooldowns. Now every time you kill a head, Megaera will lose a percentage of her health equal to that of the amount of health that the head had. You basically have to kill 7 heads to kill Megaera. Okay, so now that's over. What we did was we'd rotate through the heads. So we had poison and frost up first. We killed the poison, and then I think we killed the fire. Then we killed the ice, then we killed the poison, then we killed the fire, then we killed the ice. And we rotated it through so we didn't ever have a single one of any kind of head, outweighing the others. So we had an equal number of all the abilities coming at us, so it was very easy to deal with. And when Rampage came, we would gather up within melee range of the next head we were going to kill. Because that way the tanks could DPS and the melee could DPS the head down during Rampage to save us extra time. It's not actually that hard. There's a lot to sort of, in the dungeon journal there is a lot there because there's 3 heads doing 3 different things. But it is very straightforward. You choose your order in which you're going to kill the heads. And then as soon as one head goes down, you then choose the next head and you go on to that head. If you get targeted by the ice, you just got to run away, leaving the frost patch in a good place. If you get targeted by the cinders, if you couldn't get rid of some frost, get rid of some frost. Otherwise, just drop it in a safe place. And if you get targeted by the poison bomb, you just run away. When Rampage comes, you group up in melee range, heal your tits off, drop whatever cooldowns you can, and just start nuking down the head. It's actually really straightforward. It basically comes down to how good your healers are, basically. Obviously, the more raid damage you can avoid throughout the fight helps, but it's not actually a hard fight. The DPS requirement of it wasn't that high either. So I'll leave the entire rest of the footage for the fight for you to see, but good luck, have fun, and we will see you in the next boss.
Beware. Beware.